Imagine waking up in a place you don't know, with strangers you don't recognize. No escape. No police. Just a cryptic voice, a twisted game, and choices that will push you beyond the limits of human endurance. Today, Dark Truth Files uncovers a chilling true story from the heart of rural Georgia. A terrifying ordeal known only as the Whispering Game. This isn't just a tale of survival. It's a real-life saw, a terrifying tutorial on the horrors they faced and survived, and the horrifying choices they were forced to make. Are you ready to play? Introduction: The Disappearance. From routine to nightmare, our story begins in the spring of 2021, when 4 seemingly unrelated individuals vanished from their ordinary lives across Georgia. They had one thing in common: a past moral compromise, a secret they thought was buried. The unwitting participants: Dr. Eleanor Vance, a brilliant but disgraced surgeon from Atlanta, who had once compromised patient safety for profit. Marcus Mac Jones, a former construction foreman from Savannah, known for cutting corners on safety regulations, leading to an accident he covered up. Sarah Peterson, a seemingly sweet college student from Athens with a dark history of online manipulation and blackmail. Dave Kim, a small-town police officer from a remote county who had once ignored a crucial piece of evidence in a case for personal gain. Each of them had a secret, a moment where they put their own gain or comfort above ethics. And someone, or something, was watching. They were abducted separately, silently, from their homes and cars, waking up in a place beyond their wildest nightmares. Lesson 1. The Awakening. The rules of the game. The first moments of consciousness in an unknown, hostile environment are critical. For Eleanor, Mac, Sarah, and Dave, it wasn't just physical disorientation. It was the chilling realization that they were trapped in a meticulously designed game, a tutorial in existential terror. Step 1. The initial confinement. The setting. They awoke in individual, interconnected cells within a vast, subterranean complex. The walls were rough, damp concrete, the air thick with the smell of mildew and stale earth. No windows, just a single, heavy steel door for each cell. Fluorescent lights flickered overhead, casting long, unsettling shadows. The discovery? Eleanor found herself chained to a cold metal table. Mac was in a cage too small to stand upright. Sarah was in a padded room, completely alone. Dave was suspended upside down, his vision blurred with blood. Each discovered their own horrifying predicament, designed to immediately instill fear and helplessness. The mysterious voice, a distorted, unsettling voice, seemingly from hidden speakers, echoed through the complex. "Welcome, players," it began, its tone calm, almost jovial. "You are here because of choices you made, choices that stained your souls. Now you will face consequences. You will play the Whispering Game." Step 2. The first test: moral compromise revisited. The cryptic message. Each prisoner received a unique, chilling message tailored to their past transgression. Eleanor's message mentioned scalpels and lies. Mac spoke of crumbling foundations, Sarah's of digital echoes, Dave's of blind eyes and justice denied. The impossible choice for Eleanor: her cell's oxygen supply began to rapidly deplete. A speaker announced, "To breathe, you must choose who else dies." A hidden button in your cell will seal another's fate. Delay, and all will suffocate. This was her first direct tutorial in sacrificing another for survival. The whispers. As the clock ticked down, faint, distorted whispers filled her cell. Seemingly coming from the walls themselves, the voices of her past victims, accusing her. The psychological pressure was immense. Eleanor's oxygen was running out. She heard the same agonizing sounds from the other cells, knowing they faced similar dilemmas. The voice demanded a choice. In a moment of sheer desperation, driven by the primal urge to breathe, she slammed her hand down on the hidden button, and a chilling scream erupted from a distant cell, followed by sudden silence. She took a gasping breath as the air returned to normal. She had survived. But at what cost? And who had she condemned to death? This wasn't just a game of survival. It was a horrifying tutorial in abandoning humanity for one more breath. Lesson 2. The Horrors Revealed. A journey through personal purgatory. The game was designed to force them to confront their deepest fears and their darkest selves. Each new puzzle was a psychological torture, a mirror reflecting their past sins, pushing them to extreme physical and mental limits. Step 1. The Psychological Gauntlet. Mac's Reckoning. Mac was forced into a chamber where simulated debris would randomly drop, forcing him to move quickly or risk being crushed, reflecting the construction accident he caused. His only escape was to trigger a collapse that would expose another prisoner to danger. Sarah's digital prison. Sarah was put in a room where her past blackmail messages were projected onto the walls, accompanied by the distorted voices of her victims. Her puzzle involved finding a way to delete her own digital footprint within a time limit, or face a public exposure of her deepest secrets to the outside world, a fate worse than death for her. Dave's moral crossroads. Dave was placed in a scenario where he had to judge a seemingly innocent person. His choices mirrored the evidence he once ignored, forcing him to make a decision that would either condemn an innocent or reveal his own past corruption. Step 2. The Unseen Observer, the Manipulator. The voice wasn't just giving instructions. It was observing their every reaction, their every flicker of fear, their moral calculus. It knew their weaknesses, their triggers. It was a master psychologist. Subtle indoctrination. The puzzles weren't random. They were carefully crafted tutorials in compliance and ruthlessness. They learned that compassion was a weakness, and self-preservation was the only rule. The slow erosion, days bled into weeks, weeks into months. The constant fear, the bland food, the psychological manipulation, and the knowledge that they were being watched chipped away at their sanity and their sense of self. They were no longer individuals. They were just players in the whispering game. They learned to survive. They learned to make impossible choices. But with each victory, they lost a piece of themselves, a shred of their humanity. The screams of those they condemned, the echoes of their past mistakes became the soundtrack to their waking nightmares. How much can a human endure before the line between victim and monster blurs, and survival at any cost becomes the only truth? The game was stripping them of everything, leaving only their raw, terrified instincts. Lesson 3. The False Hope. When escape becomes a new horror, the game's true horror wasn't just endless confinement. It was the cruel twist of offering escape, only to reveal that freedom came at an even more unbearable price. This was a tutorial in false hope and the enduring nature of trauma. Step 1. The Promise of Escape. The final test. After months of relentless torment, the voice announced the final test, a chance for freedom. But it wasn't a puzzle, it was a race. They were given a map of a complex, booby-trapped labyrinth and told that only one person could escape. The ultimate betrayal. To survive, they would have to outsmart, outrun, and even betray each other. The voice broadcasted their progress to one another, feeding their paranoia and pushing them into direct conflict. Mac, with his strength, tried to overpower Eleanor. Sarah, with her cunning, tried to trick Dave. The decoy exit, as they fought and struggled through the labyrinth. The voice would occasionally announce a direct exit, a seemingly easy way out, only for it to lead to a dead end, or a trap, or a reveal of another dark secret from their past. Step 2. The Solo Survivor. The last one standing. After a grueling, brutal, and psychologically scarring race, only one person made it to the true exit tunnel. The others were left behind, their fates ambiguous. Did they die in the traps, or were they simply abandoned? The voice offered no answers, just a final chilling whisper. You survived. but at what cost? The escape to nothingness, the sole survivor, exhausted and traumatized, emerged into the blinding sunlight of a desolate, remote forest in rural Georgia, miles from any road or civilization. No one was there to greet them, no fanfare. The vast, indifferent wilderness. The real box. They had escaped the physical prison, but their mind was now the new box, filled with the horrors they had witnessed and the choices they had made. The survivor was out, free, but the silence of the forest was deafening, filled with the echoes of screams, both real and imagined. They were alive, but utterly, irrevocably broken. What does survival truly mean when every choice you made to stay alive stains your soul, and the horrors you witnessed continue to play on an endless loop in your mind? This real-life saw wasn't just about escape. It was about whether they could ever truly live again. Lesson 4. The aftermath. Living with the unspeakable. Surviving the whispering game was a miracle, but reclaiming a normal life proved to be an even more brutal challenge. This phase explores the enduring psychological and social costs of surviving unimaginable horrors. Step 1. The reintroduction to society, the unbelievable story. The sole survivor eventually found their way to civilization, appearing disheveled, malnourished, and deeply traumatized. Their story of a game, a voice, and abducted strangers was met with extreme skepticism by police and medical professionals in small-town Georgia. Psychological evaluation. They were hospitalized, undergoing extensive psychological evaluation. Diagnoses of PTSD, severe trauma, and even delusional disorder were considered. Proving their story without any physical evidence of the subterranean complex or the other participants was nearly impossible. The crazy label. Friends and family struggled to believe. Some distanced themselves, fearing for their own safety or simply unable to comprehend the horror. The survivor was often labeled as mentally unstable, their truth dismissed as a breakdown. Step 2. The enduring trauma, flashbacks, and nightmares. The horrors of the whispering game became a constant replay in their mind. Every dark corner, every unexpected sound, every moral dilemma they faced triggered flashbacks and crippling anxiety. Sleep offered no escape, only vivid nightmares. Loss of trust. Trust in humanity, in institutions, in the very concept of fairness, was shattered. They lived in a constant state of hypervigilance, forever questioning motives and fearing unseen forces. The guilt, the burden of having survived, knowing what they did to get out, was immense. The faces of the others, the sounds of their suffering, haunted them. This was the ultimate cost, a soul burdened by unspeakable choices. The whispering game left no conventional evidence. The subterranean complex was never found by authorities, or if it was, it remained a heavily guarded secret. The identity of the voice, the architect of this psychological saw, remained unknown. But what if the game was never truly over? What if the horrors they faced were just the beginning, and the architect of their pain was still out there, watching, waiting for new players to succumb to the whispering game? The chilling possibility that such an ordeal could happen again to anyone lingers like a whisper in the dark. Conclusion. The real-life nightmare. A warning from the depths. The horrors they faced and survived in the whispering game is a chilling testament to the human capacity for cruelty and the incredible, yet often scarred, resilience of the human spirit. It serves as a stark warning. The lessons learned. The frailty of sanity. How easily the mind can unravel under extreme, systematic psychological pressure. The cost of survival. That freedom can come at an unconscionable price, staining the soul. The hidden monsters. That the most terrifying games aren't always public, and the monsters might be closer or even more unseen than we imagine. The unseen prisons. How psychological torment can be a more devastating execution than physical death, leaving victims to live with their horrors. The whispering game may be over for its survivors, but its echo, a chilling reminder of the dark truths about human nature and the capacity for orchestrated suffering continues to resonate. They faced unimaginable horrors and survived a real-life saw, escaping a game designed to break them. But the question remains, was their survival a victory or just a new kind of torture? And with the architect of the whispering game still unknown, could this terrifying ordeal happen again to unsuspecting citizens across the USA, pushing them beyond their limits, forcing them to make choices no human should ever have to make? For more chilling insights into true psychological horror, unsolved mysteries, and the dark corners of the human experience, make sure to subscribe to Dark Truth Files.